Horology, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the urban gentry. Its continuing mission to explore strange new watches, to seek out cool vintage pieces with pure class, to boldly go where no watch channel has gone before. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. Today, a very quick video, and I know I tend to say that and then I ramble on, rabbit on for like half an hour, but I will try and make this short and sweet. And this is actually, I think, the third time I'm trying to make this video. Unfortunately, there is something wrong with the audio interface of my camera, because I have two cameras, the camera at Gentry HQ, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it exactly is wrong with it. There seems to be this white noise interference. I've tested the interface on this and the microphones, and they work perfectly, so it's something to do with the camera. So unfortunately, I'm stuck at home, and it looks like I'm going to be at home for a little while. It's a shame, because I like to alternate, have a change of scenery, especially when it's a beautiful day, with the Manhattan skyline in the background. But anyway, we'll have to make do with the war room, good old war room, for the moment. Now, of course, before I get into this, I'll do a quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing one of my wife's pieces today. This is a jellyfish from Swatch from 1998. Very fun, very affordable. Really enjoying this piece. I love the loud tick. I know it's a bit of an annoyance for some, but I quite enjoy it. And the great thing is that, unfortunately, with the plastics of that particular era of Swatch, the translucent, as the name suggests, jellyfish, right? The translucent plastic tends to discolor, but this one is in very good nick indeed. Just something fun and reminds me of childhood, so it's priceless. So what are we discussing today? Well, I thought I would make this video. This video has been long overdue for like 2 years, and there's a good reason for that, because I'm talking about the 7 best places to buy your watches online. Everything from luxury, entry level, and vintage. And the reason why it's taken so long is because these are places that I personally use myself, and in doing so, when I recommend a place of business, it's got to be the best. Okay, number 7. First of all, it's Watch Buys, and they are based in North Carolina. They predominantly are a specialist of German brands, and they are an authorized dealer for Sinn, Nomos, Glashütte, Hanhart, Junghans, to name a few. But they also represent Fortis. So I think that's the only Swiss brand that they are actually authorized dealers for. But yeah, predominantly German. I bought my Sinn 104, the first one, not the rebuy, because I sold it, as you guys know, I sold it. Massive regret. And guys, if you want a Sinn authorized dealer in the UK for Europe, check out Page and Cooper. Watch Buys is for, I think, North America. But double check. But anyway, yeah, I highly recommend them. Extremely professional and reputable. Number 6, an old favorite. It is, of course, Saltzman's of Rhode Island. And I've been a faithful customer of them for, well, donkey's years, it seems like now. But yeah, over the last couple of years, I also have had 3 or 4 watches. I'm pretty sure 3 watches serviced by them, all ETA, thankfully, so it wasn't too expensive. But that raises a really good point, that they are an excellent service center. They are an authorized dealer for Breitling, Oris, Raymond Weil, Victorinox, Movado, Luminox. And not to mention G-Shock. They have a fully staffed team of very professional watchmakers. I can personally attest to the quality of their work. I've hired them to do all kinds of stuff. They do servicing on mechanical, quartz, crystal replacements, straps, batteries, resealing, pressure testing, polishing, restoration. They also handle walk-in repairs, because this is a brick and mortar store, and I urge you to pay them a visit if you are in Rhode Island. What else? They also have parts accounts with many mainstream brands such as Omega, sorry. And if you watched my video special on chronographs, they actually, I discussed, that's a good video. I think that really illustrates their expertise. So have a look back. I'll leave a link to that below. And not to mention, they are an authorized dealer for Wolf. That's where I bought my little winder here. Hirsch straps, who else? Hadley Roma, that kind of thing. And I think it's important to highlight that they are a family-owned business for 3 generations since 1940, I believe. And that is a very important point, because when you are a family reputable, establishment like this, you have a reputation, and it's not just some faceless, nameless person who sets up a website. Anybody can do that, because there's a lot of cowboys in this industry. So I think it's a very fundamental point to mention here. Number 5, my good friend Kenny Davis of Triad Vintage Watches. Do not let the name scare you. It just, unfortunately, the Triads, different connotation. No, but trust me, seriously, Kenny Davis is a seasoned vintage watch specialist. He predominantly sells on eBay, but he does have an Instagram. I'll leave links below. I've bought 3 Amigas over the last couple of years from him. What I respect about him is that, well, first of all, he has a great eye. He really is experienced. He knows what he's talking about. He doesn't price gouge. He looks after his clientele. Vintage watch buying is probably the most risky of all. I personally can't even recommend anybody in the tri-state area, because it's just, there's so many sharks and cowboys. Kenny's been an absolute savior for me. What I like is that he only does very minor cosmetic cleaning. There's no restored dials. There's no Franken watches here. They're always original. He's very meticulous. He lists everything about the watch. I'll tell you a good example of the level of professionalism that Kenny lives up to. When I bought, I think it was the 2nd Omega I bought from him, it arrived. I was too excited when I did the unboxing. I didn't film the unboxing. I should have filmed it, because it would have been horrific. But in my excitement, I dropped the watch. It smashed on the floor. The crystal went flying off. The hands went somewhere else. I managed to find the pieces. I contacted him. I was absolutely mortified, terribly upset. And he said, no, don't worry about it. Send it back. I'll have my guy reassemble it to the best of my abilities. And he looked after me. He didn't have to do that, And guys, I must state that at the time I had an eBay account. It wasn't the Urban Gentry eBay or anything like that. I have since changed the name. I could have been anybody. And that just goes to show you exactly the level of care. Just to run through some of the brands he carries. He specializes in Omega, Longines, Movado, Rolex, Hoya. He also does sub-brands like Tudor, Wittnauer, Tissot, etc. His price ranges from about 500 to 5,000. He sends me emails monthly saying, oh, I've got this, and because you can task him to find a particular watch if you're looking for something very specifically. I have to ignore his emails because, oh my God, it's not good for my wallet. Number 4, it is of course Long Island watch. I cannot do this video without talking about my good friend Mark. He has since become a good friend of mine, but you can ask him. I am still a paying customer. I do not receive any special treatment, although he does lend in watches for me to review very kindly. Mark is one of the most stand-up guys I know in this industry. He's also one of the nicest people you can ever meet. Now, Mark is mostly on the entry level, so I'll give you a run through of some of the brands that he covers. Aristo, Casio, Citizen, Collins, Hemel, Zeppelin, Junkers, Laco, Marathon, Messerschmitt, Orient, Orient Star, Pulsar, Seagull, Seiko, Squale, Timex, Undone, and Vostok Europe. I mean, the list, it goes on and on and on. Now, I have to address something. When I did my 10 watches to avoid videos, I mentioned that some unscrupulous grey market, absolute cowboys to avoid in the New York area. A lot of people, for some reason, thought I was talking about Mark. Mark is not grey market. Mark is an authorized dealer. There's a big distinction between the two. So I can't recommend Mark enough. You know, I mean, he's the epitome of professionalism, and I only wish that those unscrupulous cowboys that I was alluding to, I'm not going to name and shame. Being negative is not my style, but I only wish they were as good as Mark. So if you want an authorized dealer for any of those brands and more, check out Long Island Watch. And he also ships worldwide. Very good point. I'm not sure if Kenny or the previous people I mentioned ship worldwide. I think Kenny is gonna try, so email him. He's worth the try. It's worth the try. Number 3, Moya Fine Jewelers of, I believe they are in Carmel. That's right, Carmel, Indiana. Shout out to my good friend Salvador. If you're watching, he actually lives. He's a long time commentator and Gentry member and fan of the channel. He actually lives near the store and he can personally attest to their professionalism. They are an authorized dealer for Alpina, Bell & Ross, Breitling, Citizen, Dior, Hublot, Grand Seiko, IWC, Longines, Omega, Tag Heuer. The list goes on and on and on. I have many family and friends that have bought off them, Giancarlo as well, so they can all personally attest to their professionalism. And also a good alternative to the grey market is they do pre-owned luxury watches. Have a look, they always have fantastic deals. And now they have started lending watches in. So if there are any of the brands I've mentioned there you want to see reviewed, do nominate in the comments below. I can't recommend them enough. This is a brick and mortar store, so, well, goes without saying. Number 2, we cannot make this video without talking about my good friend John Keel at Watch Gauge. I am a customer. I bought my my NTH Nakin from John. John is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, a true gentleman. We've become very good friends. He actually comes from the high end of the watch industry. He started Watch Gauge out of his love and passion for micro brands. So what he does, I'm going to be very crude and honest now, so I do apologize, but we all know there's a lot of rubbish out there in the micro brand world. He sifts through all of this and he finds the gems in the diamonds in the dirt, so to speak. It's an online store, so it's all of the best of the micro brand industry, and he is a seasoned veteran. If you work in the industry, especially in the United States, you will know who John Keel is. He has that much of a reputation. I've interviewed him. I'll leave a link to the video where he came in and showcased a whole bunch of, and that's when I fell in love with the NTH. When I first saw it, I just had to get it. So he will showcase, or he'll bring new brands in every month. It's fantastic. I love micro brands because they're a little bit more personal, a little bit different, distinctive, not your mainstream, you know, not your typical watch brands. You can find some really cool, kind of quirky, and it's nice to have something in the collection not everybody has that is a little bit unique. And number 1, okay, last but by no means least, it has to be Timeless Luxury Watches. They are based in, where are they based? Frisco, Texas, that's it. I almost totally forgot. Shout out to my good friends Stephen and Dan. They are probably one of the best, if not the best, luxury specialists in the United States. They are authorized dealers for Tudor, Omega, Grand Seiko, IWC, Nomos, Zenith, Bremont, Oris, Louis Monet, Montegrappa, G-Shock, Mont Blanc, Tag Heuer, and probably most impressively of all, A. Lange and Zohm, among others. And I think actually this highlights a very good point, guys, that to get the accounts from these extremely high-end brands, you have to have a very trusted, established reputation. You can't be anybody. They are a brick and mortar store. They're extremely highly regarded and trusted. I can personally attest, I bought from them. Giancarlo's bought off them. Many of the gentry have. So yeah, their reputation is there. Now, Timeless Luxury also have used watches, so a great alternative to the grey market. I know I've been very critical, but guys, it's for good reason. I want you guys to get the best service you can, because at the end of the day, guys, we're all hardworking people. We save up. We don't want to get ripped off. You know, we don't want to have our hard-earned, saved money. We don't want the risk with sellers and dealers and places of business like this. It takes all of that risk out of the equation. You know, your money is in safe hands. These are all people that I personally use and can recommend, because guys, at the end of the day, I don't get anything by recommending these people. But what I do get is the assurance and knowing that you are in safe hands. That's what matters to me. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.